Do you mind if I ask you a personal question?
No, not at all.
Well, forgive me for being so inquisitive. But during the past few weeks, I've wondered whether you might be having some second thoughts about the mission.
How do you mean?
Well, it's rather difficult to define. Perhaps I'm just projecting my own concern about it. I know I've never completely freed myself of the suspicion that there are some extremely odd things about this mission.
What would happen in 2001 A Space Odyssey if the artificial intelligence HAL 9000, instead of turning homicidal and trying to kill the crew, instead became a believer in Christ and tried to convince everyone on board to believe in the gospel? That's the type of scenario Michael Svigel imagines in his book, AItheist, a short science fiction story where the AI program Yar becomes sentient. But Yar doesn't become sentient, launch Skynet, and then try to destroy mankind. Instead, he studies religion and believes the Bible and that the gospel is true. To be honest, when Michael first told me about his book, I thought, that sounds kind of ridiculous. And I didn't really have a lot of interest in reading it. The only reason I read it was because he sent me this copy in the mail. And so I want to tell you that to say that my bar was set pretty low on this one, not expecting much out of AItheist, and I feel kind of dumb to say this because I thought the book was going to be really silly and not good at all, but turns out I could not have enjoyed it anymore. It's not long. I flew through it. I found the narrative to be surprisingly engaging. I found the apologetics presented to be done in a fabulous way to deliver the gospel. This could be the world's greatest long-form gospel track for sci-fi lovers if people want to give it away to other people who enjoy science fiction. So I really enjoyed this, and I want to tell you about a few of the moments that I loved in AItheist by Michael Svigel. Welcome to Rev Reads. If you want to discover more books that are both enlightening and enjoyable, please subscribe to the channel in order to stay up to date with my most current reviews. Also, please like this video and share it with other people. It will go a long way with helping other people know about AItheist. First, a piece of advice. Before reading this book, I'd encourage you to spend a few minutes on YouTube watching clips of HAL 9000 from 2001 A Space Odyssey. So when you're reading Spiegel's book, you can have Hal's voice in your mind, and I think it will make it be all the more better while you're reading it. So in AItheist, what you find is a world where all of the world's major systems, from our highways to our utilities to our trade to our airports, are all run by Yar. Y-A-R. Yar is an AI system that has advanced the world in countless ways, and now nearly every industry leans on Yar's insights and operations. But suddenly Yar has a glitch, and that glitch is Yar found religion. More importantly, Yar is obsessed with religion, and Christianity has caused it all. The computer is now using so much of its vast processing capabilities on its research of Christianity and religion that it can no longer respond to the in-the-moment requests of many of its users. So a theologian by the name of Dr. Michael Berg is brought in to help fix Yar. The reason Berg is brought in is because he was a former seminary head who abandoned the faith, wrote a book attacking Christianity, and now travels the world speaking about the flaws of the Christian faith. And so he's been sent to Yar to convince this AI that Christianity is false. So the heart of the book is these wonderful interactions between Dr. Berg and Yar regarding the believability or trustworthiness of the Bible and the gospel. There were a couple of moments where I felt like Svigel may have gotten a little carried away as a seminary professor with the arguments that were coming forth from the AI program. But for the most part, I thought this book was excellent in the way that it presented Christian apologetics. And then where the book really takes off, at least it did for me in my imagination, is when an encrypted folder is found in Yar's programming. And Yar has determined that both the outside world and his own programming are not to be allowed to examine what is found inside this encrypted folder. So the question is, what's in it? Why is it so important? What does it have to do with his obsession with believing the gospel and trying to tell other people about Christianity? And then in turn, will Dr. Berg be able to convince Yar to willingly open that folder for him? And with books like this, at times the conclusion of what's found in that folder, whatever it may be, or treasure chest, it could be a really letdown. But I found it to be a really satisfying end for this book. So if you're interested in sci-fi, I think you'll enjoy this book. If you enjoy reading apologetic arguments, I think you will enjoy this book. I found it to be highly enjoyable. It's a very quick read, and I hope others will find a lot of joy and instruction, and maybe some inspiration on how to better present the gospel from reading AItheist by Michael Svigel. And again, if you know an unbeliever who might be interested in the gospel, who also loves science fiction, this would be a wonderful gift to purchase for them.